It's wrestling on Christmas. Yes, we're reviewing MLW here on Christmas Day. This might be pre-recorded, but you're here with us, and boom, it's Christmas Day with the Video Bros. I'm Bobby Munson, the man sitting beside me. He's the man with the angelic voice. He's Papa Smokes. Papa Smokes, Merry Christmas. How you doing, brother?
Oh, Merry Christmas to you, Munson, and a special Merry Christmas to all the wrestling people out there. We're here with you on Christmas Day. Well, this is dropping on Christmas Day. It's not Christmas Day today, but we wouldn't let you go a Thursday without a fresh episode of Ring Respect Radio. So that's exactly what we're doing for you this week. Doubling up this week. You get your episode at the usual time, on the usual day. Man, the Video Bros, is there anything we can't do?
Yeah, we make it happen. We make it happen because all of you show that love and support to us all year long, and we really do appreciate every single one of you. We wish you were here live in the chat, but hey, you know what? That's what that comment section is for. If you're new here, though, feel free to open up. Let us know in the comments what you liked about our show, what you liked about MLW, maybe your favorite matches, or what are some other things you'd like to see us review maybe down the road as well too. But stick around because we got a lot of great stuff to talk to you about. You know, it's maybe a break from the typical Christmas activities that some are used to here on this festive of all days. But Pop Smokes, I gotta ask, on Christmas, what's your favorite part of the Christmas dinner?
Of the dinner itself, because I was going to say my favorite part of the day is the dinner for sure.
Yes, yep.
But I like drinking beer. Food. I like drinking beer, and I like watching football on Christmas Day as well. But you're talking about dinner, okay? Well, I'm kind of a traditionalist. I like the old turkey and potatoes and stuffing kind of thing. Yep. I like to have the Brussels sprouts on Christmas.
Oh,
I like to have the yams or the turnips or the parsnips on Christmas as well. I like that cranberry jelly. I want the stuff that's in the can so that you put it upright on the plate, pull the can off, and you've got this wiggling cylinder of cranberry jelly just wiggling away in front of you. That's one of the most awesome things. And then I like dessert. I like the dainties. I like the shortbread, the tarts, the peanut butter with the marshmallows in it and all that kind of stuff, Munson. Okay, now what about you?
Oh, again, like I mean, the turkey is the piece in the, I mean, that's the big thing around it all. But I'm like yourself, everything you just named, I would pile the plate with it. No doubt in my mind, I would pile the plate with it. Of course, my wife and I are going to be making the Thanksgiving turkey this year again. We've been doing this few years in a row now, taking it over to see family. And of course, we work together to make that thing nice, well dressed, everything, get that nice crispy skin over top of it. Use the right amount of herbs and spices on that thing. Keep basting throughout the day with using a nice broth along with it. And then at the end of it, yeah, we've got the cranberry jelly in the can, like you like, Papa Smokes. That's all ready for that day. And some homemade stuffing as well, too. Homemade stuffing, but homemade stuffing that will be cooked in a pan. Sorry to all the lovers who think it's okay to stuff it in the bird. Not really a big fan of the stuff in the bird.
Okay, well, I suppose that's fair and everything. And then you're saying you guys cook it at your house and then drive it over to whoever's hosting.
Yes, you bet. Yeah, that's what we do. Yeah. We wake up nice and early. We get that all prepared. And, you know, wife and I, we make a mean Christmas turkey, Pop Smokes. We make a very mean Christmas turkey. We've got it down to a science these last few years.
Well, leftovers to Papa Smokes, or it didn't happen, Munson.
All right. I'll make sure we slice some leftovers there and bring that to you between the holidays here, Papa Smokes. Well deserved. But yeah, the drinks is also a great time as well, too. You're mentioning the beer, but I mean, you know, the wine's flowing like nobody's business. You know, sometimes, you know, if you're a wine connoisseur, wife and I like to drink some wines. We like some champagnes, which more like a sparkling white wine, these parts, as opposed to an actual champagne. But you know, there's a lot of great drinks. I mean, I got some whiskeys over there, Pop Smokes. I've had some whiskeys that have even been aging for a little bit too, getting them all nice and perfect. So I got some fine stuff around this holiday season as we enjoy some time away from work, or at least myself, I get to enjoy a little time away. I know this is kind of a busier season for yourself, though. But I'm sure you still indulge in some of the Christmas delights, a lot of the Christmas drinks.
For sure, for sure. And I won't go too crazy this year, but what do you think of eggnog, Munson?
Yeah, I like me some eggnog, Papa Smokes. I mean, I wouldn't want to overdo something like eggnog.
For sure.
It's nice to have, but when you try to have multiples throughout the night, it becomes a very dangerous situation. That's a lot of dairy to be taking in while you're also consuming alcohol, and it becomes a dangerous concoction when you get deep into the evening, I find.
For sure. And it's so thick and so sweet and so rich. I like to have one rum and eggnog per year, just as a traditional Christmas drink, just to kind of get the feeling in me. I'll have that probably this weekend or early next week before Christmas, and then we'll be done with that. But as for non-food traditions, perhaps on Christmas Day, I would like to go for a skate. That's what I like to do.
Nice.
I'll strap on the blades, go to my local community center, or it's a rink behind the school over by my place. You know where that is, Munson. And
Sure do, yeah.
there will be some other families and some other people just mellowly skating that day. I will take it mellow that day also. Do some laps, get some fresh air, and feel the season. As long as it's not insanely cold, I'll go out and make a few laps.
To quote what I've heard from the weather networks right now, they are predicting approximately about a high of -12 possibly for Christmas Day. So that's a very reasonable temperature to be outside skating.
That would be just fine with me. In fact, pretty much perfect.
Yep, exactly. You don't want it too warm. It starts to get a little sloppy, a little too wet outside. But if you got it right in that kind of just into the double digits, barely into the double digits on the lower end, it's just right for that kind of day.
Oh yeah. So I'll probably do that then for sure. And I'm just going to talk to my family, have a few thoughts about a few friends and other loved ones and stuff. And it seems like a good time too. I'd like to send a couple of Merry Christmases out to various people around here, including you, Munson, and your lovely wife and your family. Merry Christmas. I'd like to send a Merry Christmas out to the PPW Nation, including all the boys and including all the people that work at the venue and including all the fans, every single one of them that show up every time. Merry Christmas to all y'all. We love you.
Yeah. Great shout outs, Papa Smokes. Big Merry Christmas to all the same people. And also back to you as well. Papa Smokes means the world to be able to do this and be able to put this together here. And I think we should get down to the nitty gritty here. I think we should start talking about what the people came to see. And that is our MLW, at least our return to talking about MLW. We've taken a little bit of a break. We've said maybe that this could be a return in 2026. This could be your sneak peek into 2026, where we will do our damnedest to start including MLW back into our regular review lineup here. And I'm glad we started here. Well, this is the MLW crossover with Don Gato. And before we even start about how the show opened, Papa Smokes, I'm sure you got a little bit of information about the building and everything going on here. So turning it over to you, my friend. Take the reins.
Okay, yeah, you guessed right, Munson. I was interested in them MLW playing in Charleston, South Carolina. So looking into this is the first time they've played this particular city. And Court Brower has announced in the recent past that MLW's new corporate home is Charleston, South Carolina. So we're watching and reviewing right now the first show that they're having there, presumably of quite a few to come. So the business center has now moved to Charleston. This particular event was held at Charleston Music Hall, and we got a few shots of this throughout the show. Very nice looking old building. We just talked about the Burton Cummings Theater recently being one of those classic old buildings. The Charleston Music Hall was built in 1849 to 50. It was originally a train passenger station, but after the Civil War, it was made into, that's how old this is. It was before the Civil War it was built. It was a factory manufacturing fiber woven bags. It was partially destroyed by the Charleston earthquake of 1886. Closed during the Depression of the 30s, this building was refurbished and reopened in 1995 as a music venue for local and international music acts. So, what a long and storied history for the Charleston Music Hall. It's been a whole bunch of things over 100 and well over 150 years. This building has a capacity of just under 1,000. So, a nice sized building, not massive at all, but intimate, right? And what did you think of the glimpses we got of this? Because it was kind of a show sponsored by that Don Gato tequila, they had various special celebrity guests and such, and various VIPs sitting in the crowd, including one hilarious man we all know, Danny McBride.
Yeah.
And he's a sponsor or a representative of Don Gato Tequila, so he's at the show. A few other people. This looked nice in here. I thought it looked really nice.
Yeah.
It's a classical old building of nice architecture. You can see that it's been refurbished and redesigned, modernized on the inside, and it just looked awesome. I thought the seats were theater style, you know, kind of just kind of like movie theater seats just moving upwards towards the back. The color, they had all kinds of colored lights throughout the crowd. And the wrestling ring was kind of like at the front where the stage would be. I thought it was absolutely beautiful. And they had it, the cameras placed nicely. They had the sound placed nicely. This building is obviously designed for picture and sound for the music acts that play there. Wrestling, no problem. You can set it up perfectly. It's just like a band playing on the stage. So I thought, as usual, the production value was good in MLW. And then this venue, I'm looking forward to seeing more. I also hope that they take the cameras back, show a little bit more of the venue as well, because what a beautiful old building. And I'm looking forward to MLW's home being there. I hope they continue to hold some of their big events that they tape for YouTube in this building.
Yeah, and not only that, like I'd be happy with more crossovers with Don Gato, be honest. Like bringing in that kind of a sponsor and then them having some connections to some celebrities doesn't hurt in your favor. I mean, when people are searching into these people and hey, they were in the crowd at this MLW show. Well, what's this MLW? You know, and go check it out on YouTube, right? The process is great for getting eyes on the product. And I think they've done a really nice job of all the things that I think that were not present there for MLW for that little bit that we kind of stepped away. I think that they really stepped it up from there. Like they have jazzed this up. It looks fantastic. Like this was one of the best setups I've seen for what we've been watching in pro wrestling in 2025. I love the LED backdrop being where it was located there with the different changing scenes and everything like that. I said to you midweek even that I thought that that was such a cool setup that if this would have been during shutdown times because of the pandemic at the time, this would have been a perfect setup that would have made sense for empty arena wrestling. The way it looks, the way it's designed, you wouldn't have had that feeling of emptiness, especially with the LED backdrop that does. It's an angled backdrop as well, too. So it takes up two sides of the ring. And so a lot of the time, the hard cam shots and everything like that are catching that in the backdrop, but it doesn't distract from the wrestling at the same time. So I really loved how they put this together. I thought this was an A+ setup.
Yeah, same. I'm glad you brought up the LED screens in the background because I thought it looked awesome. It looks very pro. You can see that some other companies are doing that these days, including Chaotic had a nice setup the last show that we watched. That looked really cool in the background. This was similar, but a different take on it because it just had ambient moving images in the background, and they kind of seem to link up the images thematically with whatever match was going on too. The ladies, one of the ladies matches, the Shotzi Blackheart match, had kind of a white backdrop with these kind of leaves and kind of snowflakes and stuff going by. It really looked cool, and it really added to the match visually without taking away from the action that was going on in the ring.
Yeah.
Total thumbs up. I love this.
Me too. And they had some stars on display. And like I'd say stars, like definitely stars on an MLW level. They have a lot of
Yeah.
heavy hitters, I would say, right now that are in that company at the moment. And that's why this card felt like a very strong card overall in terms of the names on paper, what they were giving us as viewers as well, too. And so I think there's no better time than to head on over to talking about those matchups, or at least let's talk about that opening segment, because the show starts off with the introduction of, we've got Cesar Duran, we've got Don Gato out there with the Lucha mask on, we got Selena De La Renta, we got Jesus Rodriguez. They come out, they do an introduction. Great job as always, especially when they put Selena De La Renta on the microphone. Always has the crowd eating out of the palm of her hand, no matter what. And then all of a sudden, our boy Akiro Kwan, aka Tristan Ty, comes walking out, and right away I'm like, I'm sold on this segment, Papa Smokes. I am ready to go because I love me some Akiro Kwan on my screen.
So much so. And yeah, I'm glad we're talking about this opening segment too, because just to backtrack slightly, you remember when you and I first started watching MLW back some 6 years ago or something. One of the things I always liked about it was they kind of present it, they present the action and present the show in a way that has that real sports feel to it. It's not presented as a wrestling the silly clown show or anything like that. They present it like a night at the fights. They have the tales of the tape and the all the cool chyrons and all that stuff on the screen that makes it look like a real fight. The heights, the weights, the reaches, the styles that they wrestle, all that stuff, so that the viewer can compare, like, okay, these guys are actually fighting each other. That I always think is one of the cool things about MLW. Plus, the ring announcers and such kind of make it seem a little bit more like a boxing or an MMA fight. That's how this first segment to me came across on this Don Gato show, was that they brought out the sponsors first. And there's a little, they announce the sponsor, and then it's Don Gato Tequila. And they talk about it and they show it, and the whole thing just rang of like how boxing matches do that. They'll say it's presented by this and that and the other, all these products that are the sponsors of the fight card. This gives it a professional feel to me. I like this. It makes it feel more like a real fight. That's what's cool. Having the dignitaries of the company come out, Cesar and Selena, etc., and just hosting it, representing the company, coming out and introducing the fans to this show that they're about to show. Very cool, man. I like this. It gives it that big fight feel, so to speak. But then, as you said, our man Tristan Tai, also known as Akiro Kwan, comes out and just a fly in the ointment, gets in everybody's faces, demands the title shot he wants, disrespects a few people. And then, well, you saw what happened to Don Gato pulling out a samurai sword in self-defense. Wow, it's getting heated right off the bat here. So just glad to see one of our homeboys making some noise in MLW as usual. And hell, we're off to a start in this card.
Yeah, and they announced that he's going to get his wish. He's getting inserted into the MLW middleweight championship match later, making it a 3-way matchup. But there will be consequences because Don Gato himself, Mr. Samurai Sword, is going to be the special enforcer on the outside. I thought fantastic. I'm like, yeah, I feared it wasn't going to go Kwan's way, but we'll talk about that very momentarily when we get to that matchup. Let's go to our first match of the evening. We had a returning Scarlett Bordeaux back in MLW, and the debut of Isla Dawn in MLW here to kick things off. Again, Scarlett Bordeaux, a lot of people know her as being at the side of Killer Kross every time he's gone to make his runs over in the dub there. But we knew that she had some matches in MLW previously, and always kind of wondered. I mean, at least I wondered why it was that when she transitions to another company, they don't want to utilize her as a wrestler, yet MLW does, because her wrestling's fine. This match worked in every sense. Like, this was good. And it feels like they want to build her as a star in MLW as well, too, because not only was this a solid match against Isla Dawn, who's coming in fresh to MLW, another person that they could really utilize as a bigger name there, because she spent some good time over in the dub. People know who she is. You know, so having Scarlett Bordeaux go over in this matchup was fantastic for the statement they're trying to make about her, and later as we talk about Killer Kross as well too. This was a solid opener. Great job from these ladies. I liked what I saw here. I really enjoyed this match.
I thought so too, and both came out very seriously. Dawn as the heel and Bordeaux as the babyface. Both lovely ladies, both looking totally very pro and all that stuff. Gave them about 6 minutes or so, which is enough, I think, sometimes to get a serviceable match out. It went back and forth a little bit. Dawn looking like she's the more seasoned ring veteran, and Bordeaux looking like she's a perfectly serviceable wrestler. She was fine. There was absolutely nothing wrong in this match. And Bordeaux goes over, kind of possibly as a foreshadowing as to what's going to happen later in the match with her man, Killer Kross. Who knows? But Dawn doing the job in this match, looking very good. Carrying Bordeaux slightly, maybe kind of, but Bordeaux's also had a whole ton of matches in her career too, including in TNA and a few other companies. So this match got it going good, but they didn't drag it out. This was a 6-minute TV match, so to speak. And Bordeaux goes over, giving the fans something to cheer about at the end of this match. Boom, your card's off and running.
Exactly. No, fantastic way to kick off the card. Second match up, Papa Smokes. This one interesting. We had the Good Brothers, Karl Anderson and Doc Gallows, taking on the MLW Tag Team Champions, the Skyscrapers, Bishop Dyer and Donovan Dijak. And this one, I was glad they reinforced the ring, because that is a lot of big boys. Other than Karl Anderson, man, did he ever look a little out of place being in there with all these boys? Hey, there's a lot of meat in there. But always he's really sharp at what he does. I mean, he fits in with the big boys anyway, right? Like when he mixes it up, Karl Anderson is an ace at doing that kind of shit. I thought this was good. I mean, these guys can really throw down, especially for some big boys. There was some really good stuff in this. Bishop Dyer and Dijak have become a great tag team. I think they're great at representing MLW as the tag team champions. Like their work a whole heck of a lot. And I'm kind of interested about the direction here now, because to have this end by disqualification insinuates the idea that the Good Brothers are sticking around for a while, and that we're going to see more between these two tag teams. And Don Browski and Tom Lawler on commentary started listing like the tag teams that are in MLW right now. And it feels like, once again, there is a strong focus on MLW tag team wrestling. And that was one of the things that we really liked, was a focus on all these different, tag teams, the middleweights, the lucha stuff, the heavyweight stuff. And that was what MLW was known. They were known for different styles of fights. And it seems like we're seeing that again. And I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed this tag match. Yeah, it ended in DQ, and maybe some people have an issue with that. I don't, because I know we get more, and I know it's going to get interesting.
Yeah, I have no issue with that whatsoever, because the commentators, we haven't been watching the show lately, the shows leading up to this card, but as the commentators told us, the Dijak and Dyer have been just running roughshod through MLW, attacking people backstage, back jumping people all over the place. So this match already had some heat coming in. The Good Brothers weren't going to stand for that. So what did we get? An all-out brawl. And there was no respect for the referee. He was getting roughed up. He was getting pushed around and tossed around. So convincingly done with a DQ ending. But this match was not so much a match, but a kind of preview of what's to come. This is the way I look at it anyway. Just
Yeah.
they didn't throw their best stuff out there. They didn't throw their biggest moves or their biggest bumps or anything like that out there. It was just a brawl. Took it to the outside, took it around the ring. Three big guys and one medium-sized guy slapping meat and throwing each other around. This was, yeah, like I say, a preview of things to come. So they showed us that the heat is turned up high, and now we want more. So once again, looking forward to the next big card for MLW, which will be Battle Riot. I kind of expect to see these two tangle again, but with some more meat to the match, with some more in-ring shenanigans to really sort of prove who's the better team, who can get the win out of this, who deserves those tag team championships. Because you know the Good Brothers want that gold around their waist too. Plus they want to get some revenge on Dijak and Dyer. So to me, yeah, this was a preview of what's to come. There's a feud brewing that's really picking up steam. And by the time Battle Riot comes around, we're going to see this come to fruition.
Yeah, you bet. Like, and that's just it. Like Battle Riot being such a large show for MLW, you want those large clashes, and I think that's a great way to build into it. They'll probably throw a gimmick on it, I would presume. No DQ, something along those lines,
Yep.
or something's gonna give. They're gonna throw some gimmick on this thing because of the fact that they couldn't settle it in a standard matchup on this card. So looking forward to it. Again, we know those guys are going to be there. I'm pretty sure all four of them have already been named as entrants into the Battle Riot itself. At least a few of them have been for sure. Maybe even more by the time this actual video drops for everybody too. But Battle Riot's going to be so cool as always. I can't wait to watch that. And if this is the build towards it, great job MLW. Looking forward to it.
Yep.
All right, up next, Papa folks, we've got what they called a lightning match. It's Diego Hill taking on Okumura and Stigma is what we got here. A three-way bout, and didn't know anything about Diego Hill. They really started talking about how this is somebody newer to MLW. Obviously, Diego Hill's got a lot of the flash about him, a lot of the flair in there, kind of thing. It's a three-way dance. Okumura comes in with a lot of that experience. Again, we're not, you and I, not massive triple threat guys. Diego Hill's style, it's fast, it's athletic, it's unique. I don't know how it fits into a one-on-one wrestling match just yet. It'll probably fly very well with the middleweight division. I think that he's going to be a standout in that division. And I think MLW wants him to be a standout in that division, especially based on this particular bout right here. It feels like they're taking a chance on somebody new for MLW to push somebody up the card that works for them.
Very well put, Munson. It was Diego Hill that stood out for me too. Not the style that I usually favor as a wrestler, but this guy was doing that fast acrobatic style very, very well. He's athletic. He's got timing. He does his moves with a grace, that really makes them look slick and smooth. Those Hurricane Ranas, those some of the aerial moves from the ropes, using the ropes to bounce off. I mean, a lot of people do this style nowadays. You got to give it to Diego Hill. He's young, he's not big, but he's got that wiry athletic frame, and he makes it look good. And he was the standout in this match for me, and he went over in this match. So to echo you, yes, it looks like they are going to try and build this name out of these three to be someone in that middleweight division to take up the legacy of greatness built by some of the former champions such as Meyer and Reed and all that. I think he could be one of the standouts to maybe hold that belt or be in some of the big matches that determine the middleweight champion.
We're still hoping that in order for him to get there, he might have to go through our boy Akira Kwan there at some point.
For sure.
Yeah, we want Kwan for the
Yeah,
championship.
good luck with
Diego
that,
Hill.
Diego. Yeah,
Diego's young. He can wait his turn just a little longer, right? It's Kiro's
for
been
sure.
waiting long enough. All right, yeah, but yeah, definitely a standout. The match after that, this was called the Gato's Gauntlet match. We had Barbosa and Difunto versus Atlantis and Atlantis Jr. versus Felino Jr. and Felino and Blue Panther and Hijo de Blue Panther. This was exactly what I expected it to be, Papa Smokes. This was a lot of Lucha guys doing a lot of Lucha stuff all the time. It kind of lost me. This is no disrespect to anybody in that ring. They're all good at what they do. It's just a lot of shit going on for me. It's a lot to digest and just not my thing. The easiest way to put it is it's just not my thing. I'd rather be watching a good battle for the middleweight championship, having these guys in maybe tag matches or something along those lines. But when you start sticking 4 different teams into one of these battles and it is all over the place, it is what it is. It didn't eat up too much time. It sat where it needed to be on the card. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing really exciting about it.
Yeah, well, you need a match in which to go to the bathroom and get your next beer and your popcorn or whatever, too. This would have been a good one to do it. No disrespect to anybody in it. These are all famous families from Lucha, like including the Panthers and the Los Felinos, the Cats, and everybody. These are famous guys throughout there. And I think it was just kind of, I think some of these matches are for the fans, for the Southern wrestling fans, for the people that get more lucha in their local wrestling than people that live where we do, right? Like, so this was a billboard of some famous old lucha stuff. Do your stuff, guys, and show everybody your big moves. There were many parts of this match where all the guys were in the ring at the same time. It was a bit of a schmozzle. They did lots of moves. They did them very quickly in sequence all the time. So yeah, it was a bit of a mess, but it was a match. I liked what Filthy Tom said on commentary, though. I thought it was kind of interesting when some of the teams were working together. Some of those father-son teams or trainer-student teams. He was saying it's not chemistry; it's family ties. That's kind of an interesting point. That's a good way to make it too. Is we've seen this from some of these families and brothers and sisters teams that we've seen in pro wrestling, such as the Von Erichs and the Guerreros and the Funks. They don't need chemistry. They don't need to. They don't need to coordinate all their moves completely all the time. It doesn't have to be a planned out or thought out thing. They've been doing this so long. They've been doing it all their lives. So not chemistry, but family ties. I like that line a lot.
It was a great line. Actually, Lawler, for all his joking around and tequila shooting all night, was very entertaining on the shtick.
Yeah.
And Dombrowski, I mean, shout out to Dombrowski for having been with MLW now for quite some time and really just giving it his all, doing a great job there. And actually, we forgot to mention that the ring announcer for the night, Rich Palladino from Chaotic Wrestling as well, too, always one of the absolute best on the shtick. So a lot of great things to be said about this whole show in general. Up next, though, Pop Smokes, we had another one of the ladies' matches. We had Shotzi Blackheart taking on Priscilla Kelly. Both these ladies I know have spent time over in WWE. Priscilla Kelly might have been just on the NXT UK stuff. I can't quite remember. I know that some of the more NXT aficionados like Ed and Astrid could probably answer those questions for us, but they ain't here right now. So we will go with Priscilla Kelly, a former member of the NXT roster in some capacity, and Shotzi Blackheart, who actually did make it to the main roster, now out in the indie circuit, now working for MLW. This wasn't Shotzi's first go around. She's had some other matches there too. We also saw her recently in Winnipeg Pro Wrestling at the Rumble of the Burt. And, I got to say, while I maybe just wasn't that interested in the gimmick when it was presented by the big company, I got to say, I've been digging Shotzi's work so far, and no difference here. Shotzi looks like she is primed to be a star for MLW, definitely. I think she's a standout character. She's working quite well, and I think she adds a lot to the featherweight division. At the same time, same for Priscilla Kelly. Priscilla Kelly, another great name that they're adding to this featherweight division, a division that, in terms of the age of MLW as a whole, the featherweight division isn't that long ago. Like we forget that it's only been the past, I'd say, 4 or 5 years that they've had a featherweights division, and now they're really starting to bolster it up. They're really starting to bring in some names, and I think that makes for these great opportunities for the women on these cards, and having a couple of the ladies matches to show off this roster was a fantastic idea. Great job by both ladies. I enjoyed this.
Yeah, same here. And I never really thought I'd say it. I knew Shotzi Blackheart through reputation, kind of. I had seen her come out in the big company in her little mini tank and all the rest of it, and it was so gimmick heavy that I thought, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna like this person as a wrestler. But lately, since we watched her in Winnipeg Pro Wrestling and then also in MLW, I'm into it. She's good, actually. She's quite serviceable in ring. I haven't heard her talk much, but both the recent matches I've seen her have were quite good. This one also was, the girls got right down to business. They got 6 minutes, so there was no screwing around, no stalling, no going out and talking to the fans or any psychological ring work like that. They just went in and started having a match. Not only did they start some spots and running the ropes and all that, but they wrestled a bit. They grappled a little bit. It was nice to see Shotzi putting on a inverted double chicken wing, kind of. I guess they call it cattle mutilation, or a variation on that hold now. That was pretty nice. That was really nice, actually. And the girls got down to business. 6 minutes. You got to get your stuff done because you got a story to tell and not much time to tell it. And they had a very, very good, serviceable little match there for 6 minutes. Shotzi going over, the ballsy badass, as they call her. She gave a top rope senton and got the pinfall over Priscilla Kelly, who still looked good in this match. So, wow, all right, not bad. Stuck it in the just above the middle of the card, and these lady wrestlers definitely deserve that spot, I think. Put on a nice little match. All the matches on this were fairly short, so they had lots of different matches to put on. Gave them all under 10 minutes, kind of thing. All right, works for me.
Works for me too. Yeah, I don't need to have my matches be drawn out for no reason, kind of thing. Long matches can work to some degree. I don't need tons of them on a card. I thought that the lengths of the matches were perfect, and I liked it. Moving on from there, Papa Spokes, it is the MLW World Middleweight Championship match. Now a triple threat. Templario, the champion, taking on Guerrero Maya Jr. and Akira Kwan. Again, 3 ways. We've said it before throughout this year, not our thing too much, but I had to be invested anyway. I had to be invested because when you've got someone you personally root for all the time, and I know he's a heel, we're supposed to hate him, boo, bad you, Akira Kwan. I mean, it's tough, man. We've had him on the show twice. He's such a cool dude. And I sit there watching it. I'm like, I don't even care that it's triple threat. I'm just paying attention to everything that Tristan's doing here, Akira Kwan's doing, man. The other 2 are great too. Like, I mean, they're all really skilled at what they do. They all belong in this position in the middleweight division. And at one point too, I thought, oh my God, Akiro's taking it. Like, man, he's going to get this thing. It didn't quite turn out that way. The champion retained in this matchup. But as far as triple threats goes, I'll give this one a little bit of a pass. I think I enjoyed it more than most of the triple threats we've seen over the last several months.
Well, sure. And once again, it was the length of it. It just wasn't drawn out. You didn't have to have one wrestler at all times unrealistically selling for insane amounts of time after getting one super kick or one hip toss and falling out of the ring and then selling as though they're actually stunned and hurt for 5, 6, 7 minutes outside the ring. That's what I hate about triple threats is they make wrestling look illegitimate and unbelievable. But if you keep it to 8 minutes or less, like this match was, it comes across a lot better. And Ikiro Kwan playing the heel very strongly in this match. He had already had a problem with Don Gato, which we discovered through commentary, and had stolen Gato's brass knuckles, beaten him up in the back, and disrespected him. So now Gato being the special enforcer on the outside, you know that him and Kwan are going to butt heads at some point in this match. And they did. And that was, of course, Kwan's downfall in this match, having to eat the pin as the champion retains. But every little step for our bro Tristan, we love it, and we love to see it. And you could feel the energy from him last time we interviewed him some months ago. He was back in MLW, and he was really feeling it this time. He had been back up in the Northeast training Gabriel Sky and the other guys, humping the road, getting a lot of matches in, different opponents, reps all the time. And can't you see, Munson, from when we first started watching him, he's so much better now. And a lot of it is not that it's skill that's increased, it's confidence and ring psychology and being a ring general and feeling like this is my ring kind of. You can see that coming from Tristan now. It always did to a certain extent, but you can see it so much more strong, in a more strong manner now. He's in there with doesn't care who it is. In this case, some luchadors and some other guys. He feels that confidence. He knows he can hang, and it just shows through. He's looking like a real pro, and you know that Court Bauer and the other bookers in MLW have got to be seeing that too, and got to be considering Akira Kwan for an elevated position in the company.
I sure hope so, man, because yeah, he is definitely just watching, I was like, I'm glued to it. And it's not just because we know him, it's because he is really risen. Like, he is so good. The fact that they're having him talk, like his first run, we didn't hear him talk until the last day he was with the company. And then we finally get to this point and they're letting him be on the microphone. And man, I'm glued to everything he's saying. He's talking like a top guy on the microphone every single time he's in there. And that's why it's believable. And yeah, they had to have it where they had a special enforcer force the loss. But you know that that's only going to drive Kwan to wanting that opportunity where nobody can interfere or whatever the shenanigan is that works in his favor. And that's, I think, where he's going to get it. I do believe there's a chance he's going to turn around and end up winning the championship.
Well, and you and I know that Akira Kwan is a talker too, because we had him on the podcast a couple of times, and he can talk. He's very intelligent. He's very articulate, and has that streetwise aspect to his speech too. He's got the trash talk. He's got the slang. He's got kind of a hip hop sound to him. He's just cool, right? Like, and he sounds awesome on the mic. So as a heel, man, he gets it across to the fans. They're booing him. He's insulting the VIPs and the other people around MLW. They're getting angry about it. I got to think that he's got to be an attractive figure to represent the company by holding one of their belts. And I think that middleweight title would be just absolutely perfect for him. Could get another belt from MLW into the grasp of Contra as well.
Yeah, you bet. All right, moving on from there. Speaking of Contra, well, it is the Black Hand of Contra, the MLW World Heavyweight Champion, and he's going to be defending the championship against Brock Anderson in a bunkhouse matchup. I was saying before we started with this recording, Papa Smokes, that at this point, you've kind of gotten used to that's what they have to throw at Mods Krugger because he's built up like a monster. He's built like he is unstoppable. So they have to throw these impossible gimmick matches at him to make it believable that you can get somebody to the championship. And I'm not taking away from Brock Anderson, right? Like, that's the angle the Andersons are going to go with what they're doing in MLW. They're going to try the shenanigans and everything to beat this monster. And why not, right? You got this guy who he's going to be very hard to keep down for a long period of time. He can go through hell and back again and continue to get up. There's not a lot of guys who can sell it. To a degree, Krugger sells it very decently, quite well enough that I can buy into it. And yeah, I don't love too many gimmick matches, but they didn't overdo the gimmick matches. So having a bunkhouse brawl match here, I thought was very entertaining, very fun. Still a big fan of Krugger. He is nimble as fuck for a guy that size. Like, Jesus Christ, when he moves, man, holy God, has he even gotten better and more dangerous from the time we saw him join MLW to now. And I'm also impressed with Brock Anderson. He's got a very similar style to his old man. He looks great in the ring. I enjoyed this way more than I thought I was going to for a bunkhouse brawl match. This was just fine. I like this.
Yeah, and don't forget with Mads Krugger, I mean, he's a huge, strong man, but we've seen him take some bumps. Like, and that's only the matches we've watched. Like, he goes out onto the indies, and I'm sure he's doing this stuff everywhere. He takes some bumps, so he is tough. But the way that MLW kind of set this match up, again, commentary, very excellent in explaining the whole thing. If you haven't seen the last few episodes before this show, Mads Krugger or Cruel Krugger had injured CW Anderson backstage, attacked him with an object of some kind and put him out with an injury. So now Brock Anderson is going to stand up for his family. That's like you have to, if you have a violent gimmick match like this and a babyface in it, there has to be a reason for the babyface to use excessive violence, because babyfaces don't usually do that, right? Use kendo sticks and tables and chairs and all that. So there has to be an anger involved in the psychology of the match. That's what this was. The Andersons are a family, and they'll stand up for each other, and they'll defend each other, and they'll avenge each other. So when CW Anderson went out a couple of weeks ago, Brock Anderson vowed revenge. Arn, his father, would stand by him in this, and then as we would see, CW Anderson would return during this match, coming out of the crowd with a kendo stick, and the Andersons were just all over Cruel, 3-on-1 for a lot of this match. But of course, you can put the monster down, but you can't make him stay down. He got up, hit his finisher, pins Brock Anderson. This was not for the title, I don't think, was it?
This one? Yeah, it was for the championship.
Oh, yeah, was it?
He retained. Yeah, he retained.
Okay. So, at any rate, yeah, the 3-on-1 cannot keep the monster down, and a successful title defense. Again, a gimmick match done in, what was this, 10 minutes or so? Another short match.
Yeah.
Got to the point, did it up good, didn't give you too much of what you wanted to see, and the guys take it home within 10 minutes, and Cruel retains. Interesting, good, and probably not a lasting angle that they're going to go for in this company, but Brock Anderson got his shot. But for Cruel Krugger, who's next?
Yeah, well, I mean, we could take our stabs at it based on the end of the night, but we'll talk about that in a moment, because one other match in between this and the main event. Up next, we have got the finals of this year's Opera Cup tournament. Mystico taking on Volador Jr. and Pop Smokes. We've been big fans of the Opera Cup in the past. Love that MLW has brought back this tradition. The Opera Cup that used to be defended in opera houses way back in the days of wrestling. Stu Hart, the final kind of one that won it in the traditional Opera Cup tournaments of the past, and it got restored, got brought back through Davey earlier on, who was a two-time Opera Cup winner himself. And this one, very interesting, going this direction, because a lot of the times it's been more wrestling heavy, especially with who's been making it to the finals. This time around, a little bit more on the Lucha side with two guys very experienced. They went on commentary to say they've had something like a ridiculous amount of matches against each other over the years in pro wrestling, these two guys. I mean, so this was a fantastic one-on-one matchup between these two gentlemen. I liked every moment of this thing. This felt like an Opera Cup final. This was well done. They really have put Mystico into the spotlight. He had a solid run with the MLW the MLW middleweight championship. And now to win the Opera Cup as well, too, in this fashion, they really have put him in a high spot, but I can see why. He's done very well for MLW. This was well done. Awesome spot for the Opera Cup to be in, to be the second last match on this card as well, too. What a spotlight. I love that they keep highlighting this cup. Very well done. This very well could be match of the night in some sense for me.
Yeah, I can get down with that. And I've been excited by the Opera Cup ever since they brought it back. Of course, it's a gimmick just to kind of make stakes in another tournament, in another set of matches. Kind of, it's almost like a title, right? There's no belt. There's a cup championship, but you don't bring that to the ring every time like a belt. But it's an honor in MLW ever since Davey Boy Smith found the old cup at the Hart Mansion and thought, hell, I should get this restored. He brought it to the same guys that take care of the Stanley Cup for hockey. They restored it to its former glory, and having a tournament every year is now one of the shining points of MLW. One of the little tournaments and one of the little honors that they have for the company that they do every year, and it's a fun thing. I thought the commentary did a really good job of going into the history of it. Dombrowski's an expert at this now. He's done it a few years in a row, right? But giving the history, showing that this cup means something. Of course, it didn't while it was sitting in Stu's basement for 30 years or whatever, but I think it's an awesome idea. Why not bring it back? Why not restore it? Why not make it mean something again? Because ultimately, the matches and the men that compete in those matches for that cup are what's important and are what writes the story for this. So very, very cool. We got the Lucha flavor to it this year. Mystico won it last year. And as we would see tonight, and again, they gave him 13 minutes or something in this match. So again, not all that long. Mystico goes over, but what a struggle between two guys who have had a million matches together. You know that they can turn out a good one on a sort of pay-per-view type event on this particular card, and bringing glory to the Opera Cup once again in 2025. Mystico now with 2 in a row. Very impressive and very good. I also liked the screens in the background during this one, Munson. Did you notice they were just they weren't moving? It was just the red tapestries hanging all around, the kind of red velvet tapestries. Just gave it that posh feel. Fit really well in this building and fit with the theme of the historical nature of the Opera Cup. Just having those fine tapestries hanging in the background. I'm a details guy, Munson. I really like it when they look at the small things like that too and make sure everything's right, everything fits in with the theme, and everything works with everything else to give us a good match.
Hell yeah. Really enjoyed this. And from there, Papa Smokes, because we're getting close to the top of the hour for people here on this Christmas Day, it is the main event of the evening. This match is scheduled for one fall. And it is between two real mat technicians. We have got a returning Killer Kross taking on the original bro, Matt Riddle. And this one, a great job of telling the story behind these two, why they're in this matchup together, why they're in this highlighted main event. man, the fans popped hard for Killer Kross returning to MLW. I love that Dombrowski said that he went to find greener pastures elsewhere, but realize, or no, was it him or Lawler that said that? I can't remember now, but one of them said went to find greener pastures elsewhere, but realized the grass ain't always greener, and came back to where he and the fans truly want him to be. And I thought that was such a perfect line to put an exclamation mark on why Killer Kross is here. This match, this one is again more for, I would say, our type of style. Definitely. You got two mat technicians. These guys are trained MMA fighters, and they used a lot of that kind of MMA type maneuvering throughout this match, the different types of throws, the different types of submissions that they were putting each other into. And the question became, like, could one choke out or tap the other? And it was brought up that there was no way this match was going to finish on a pinfall. This was definitely going to be an opportunity for one of them to get the better of the other. And I thought that there was a lot of great jobs between the two of them getting themselves into the holds and being able to find the ropes, whether it be with a foot or something like that, where it was just getting enough to get that edge to make sure that they had to make a break by the referee's hand. In this type of style of wrestling, this was a quality match. I mean, say what we will about Riddle. He's a clown. I get it. He's been a shithead most of his life, but the guy can throw down inside of a wrestling match when it comes to this stuff, and well done in here. Killer Kross looked absolutely incredible. And when he got that finish on this matchup and tapped out Matt Riddle here, man, he looked like who they're pushing to the next level in MLW. He looked like the guy who's going to step up to Krugger. And then I started to think to myself, is he the guy that passes out Krugger for the title? Is he the one that puts Krugger in that cross jacket so long that Krugger's unresponsive just long enough for the referee to call the fight? And I think that might be somewhere that I think I could see MLW going, and I wouldn't be against it. I think the fans would be behind it too, because they're loving this return of Killer Kross.
Yeah. Oh, interesting prognostication there, Munson. You got to put the Booker's hat. Well, you have a hat on tonight, not the Booker's hat, maybe. But no, I like that idea. But I thought this match was really good. I liked the little skit beforehand that showed Killer Kross coming into the dojo to talk to his old friend Matt Riddle. But they're friends, but they're also rivals, as you can see. And Riddle just needling Kross a little bit, saying, "Oh, don't worry about it, man. We'll grapple around for a little bit, and I'll take your back and choke you out like I always do, and you'll tap out like you always do." And see the look on Kross's face. Oh, yeah, I don't like that at all. You could see, well, they might grapple for a bit and roll for a bit, but Killer Kross not looking to do the job for Matt Riddle. So that was nice. You could see the story being drawn up, the former friends or friends that are current rivals, and that maybe this match was going to get a little steamier than we thought it might, and it did. So they got into the ring. These are two jiu-jitsu boys. These are rollers. You could see that they were sparring, as they've probably sparred together millions of times as professionals. But they sparred for a little bit, pure jiu-jitsu style. Well, not pure, I guess, not wearing the gis, but jiu-jitsu grappling for a while in this match. And you could see Riddle, he's skilled. He was getting the better of the bigger man, Kross. You could see the frustration coming on Kross's face. You brought up that they were clever with the rope breaks, because rope breaks tell a little bit of the story too, because in jiu-jitsu there aren't any ropes. You don't get a rope break. You don't get to just touch something and get the hold broken. You've got to find your way out of that hold through disciplined defense. And that was what Riddle started to feel it. Every time Killer Kross would touch the ropes and get the rope break, Riddle was laughing a little bit, saying, "Oh yeah, you can't get out of my holds. You got to use the ropes." And of course, the tables turn a little bit now. Matt Riddle's grabbing for the ropes. Oh, buddy that thought he was going to that thought he was on top in this match is now starting to get dominated by the larger, heavier babyface in Killer Kross. And yeah, this was a totally cool match. Had that whole feeling of starting out in some sportsmanship and starting out as a contest between two guys. Once Killer Kross started throwing the strikes in there, now it's breaking down. Now it's more of a pro wrestling match. And so it had a little bit for everybody. Riddle's deadly with those knee strikes. Those look very convincing. He hits a lot of them all the time. And eventually, from Riddle's rear naked choke, gets reversed. Kross gets it on. And now, with that superior weight, anchors him in the middle of the ring, hooks them all up. Riddle can't get out, forced to tap out. And Killer Kross gets the inspirational win against an opponent he's had trouble with in the past. So once again, let's look forward to Battle Riot. What does this mean for these two guys? I don't think Riddle's going to take this loss lying down. I think he wants to avenge this. So will they meet in the Battle Riot? Will they have a match? This could be considered kind of like a number one contenders match for the MLW Heavyweight Championship held by Mads Krugger. So will this have implications for that? Surely Court Bauer and the rest of MLW's creative and booking staff, seeing this win from Killer Kross, got to be thinking, is that the next guy to get a world championship shot against Cruel? We will see, but Battle Riot's going to answer a lot of those questions for us.
Sure will. It'll show us definitely who wins that. To the next one in line will 100% be. We've seen that many times before. But yeah, I like this event. It was really great. Go support MLW over on YouTube. And Pop Smokes, before we get to our goodbyes, final thoughts on the entire card.
Loved it. I thought it was awesome that they had a lot of matches, but shorter matches. This gave us some variety. This let the company showcase a lot of its talent, which I think was an important thing to do on this first show in Charleston, where their new business home is and where their new building is that they're going to run some of their big events, the Charleston Music Hall. Show it, showcase it, billboard it for us, put lots of your talent on a big card with lots of different styles and lots of different matches, including ladies matches, including gimmick matches, including gauntlet matches, and then have your sponsors all in there. They wanted to make this show a big splash, I think, to make it a good one in the new business headquarters in Charleston. I think it achieved that very, very well. A lively live crowd, and the show looked very good on TV. I'm optimistic about the future for MLW after some bleak months and maybe even a year in the past here. It was looking like they were floundering to get the product going. This gives me optimism for the future. I think it's looking good at this point, and I'm interested to watch a lot more.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that too, because after watching this, I'm hooked again. I really am. I was missing it. I was glad it popped up on my feed. I was like, we got to watch it. I know I've caught a few here and there, and I keep saying this, but I think this time I'm really hooked. I'm ready to get back into it, and I think we're going to make it as regular as we can amongst the reviews we do here on Ring Respect Radio. But with that said, Bob Smoke, this has been one of the longest Ring Respect Radios we've had in a long time. Hopefully you've stuck with us for the whole show. We appreciate it. Bob Smokes, why don't you tell the wonderful people where they can find you, where they can reach out to you, where they can wish you a happy holiday season.
All right. Well, every Thursday I'm here on this podcast you're watching right now, Ring Respect Radio. It is on OLE Podcasts and also the Video Bros Network. Other than that, you can find me at Elon Musk's Free Speech Wonderland, known as X. I'm at Smokes_Papa. Also on Twitch at Papa_Smokes_.
That's where you'll find Pop Smokes. As for myself, Bobby Munson, down below that ticker will take you to my Instagram, Threads, Twitch, and of course, Blue Sky. Where you can find me next, of course, I am around every Sunday on a show called Point of View, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. We go live. We talk about the weekend sports. We give you NFL predictions. We want to talk about what you want to talk about. So get in that chat. Let us know what your favorite sport of the week was, and we can do some conversation about it. You can also catch myself and Papa Smokes as part of the Prairie Pro Wrestling team, your commentary team, every Saturday at Prairie Pro Wrestling's YouTube channel. Make sure to go over there. Check us out every Saturday with a brand new match for you, the fans. And of course, every show that you're seeing before you, like Papa Spoke said, it can be found on the Video Bros Network, this show, but you can find a lot of these shows on OLE podcasts as well, too. Down below is that ticker. It's going to take you to all of OLE podcasts, different social media, as well as our YouTube and Twitch. If we brought you any value here today, especially on this greatest of Christmas days, then please go and do us a big favor. Click that subscribe button down below, turn on the notification bell, give the video a thumbs up, and leave us a comment in the comment section below. Let us know what your favorite part of the holiday season is. Let us know what your favorite match on the card was. We want to hear from you, the fans. And again, back to those Christmas shout-outs. Merry Christmas to everybody who has supported the show, been here. Merry Christmas to our friend, the Mangler, who doesn't get to be live tonight, unfortunately, but I'm sure the Mangler will be out enjoying some great Christmas cheer with good people that evening. So, yes, a big shout-out to them, the PPW Academy, everyone in the PPW roster, everybody who works backstage with us as well too, and everybody here at our local establishment, all our great friends who make this all possible. You guys are awesome. Thank you very much. We will see you, guess this, Papa Smokes, New Year's Day is when you're going to see the Video Bros next, and we're going to be bringing you our very best of 2025 episodes. So stay tuned for that. We'll see you in the new year. Happy holidays, everybody.